What is up guys, it's your boy Solam here, back with another Classic WoW video, or I guess just a regular World of Warcraft video this time, and today we're talking about Turtle WoW. Now, I've played Turtle WoW in the past. There's a couple of videos on my channel from both 2, 3, 4, and even 5 years ago, where I talk about Turtle WoW and showcase some of Turtle WoW's actual gameplay. And the thing is, there's been some updates to Turtle WoW recently, like the Karazhan update, that actually did quite a lot of changes. We have a bunch of classes that work way differently now than they used to, like for example melee hunters.
You know what's actually something I just realized? With Total WoW videos, most of the time you have a chance for your channel to get contacted directly by Blizzard for you to take the video down. Because, you know, for example, Nixium and a couple of other bigger videos do get taken down, like the Unreal Engine 5 trailer that what Total WoW did got taken down as well. What I just realized though is, Total WoW's Karazhan patch and Phase 7 with Karazhan as a dungeon came out about the same time. And part of me is actually wondering, did they hold back on Karazhan crypts for Season of Discovery so they could release it just before or just after Total WoW's Karazhan? Because I'm not saying that's what happened, but part of me is kind of curious considering the timing of things. Because Karazhan's incredibly well done. It's one of the best pieces of content Blizzard has ever done. And no one's really talking about Total WoW's Karazhan dungeon. The timing, Blizzard has been well known to release patches and updates and expansions around the same time as other games' launches or big DLCs or big expansions. They used to do this with every MMO. And then for a while they lost the power, but now that the power is back, it's kind of interesting. So part of me does wonder if that was not coincidental and that was actually intentional. But what do I know?
Sort of thing, and I have recently come back to level up a hunter, and I'm leveling it up as survival, or I guess a melee hunter this time around. Now, I'm usually a classic WoW content creator, and I'm going to keep that going as well, but I do believe that it's healthy to explore other alternatives as well. So for example, in the last month you might have seen a lot of like negative content from me when it comes to classic WoW, and I'm just gonna say, like, the state of Classic WoW right now is not the best. Like, first of all, the developers are treating it very poorly, and they're spreading their resources way too thin between Season of Discovery, Classic WoW, and the Cataclysm, or even developing Mists of Pandaria right now. So they're spreading themselves way too thin, which really shows when they're doing updates. Like, first of all, when they gave us Alterac Valley and Battlegrounds in Fresh Classic WoW, it actually leaked over from Season of Discovery into Classic WoW. So
I do want to give the classic devs here a little bit of grace. I completely agree with Solheim here. My man is legit, by the way. He's been making content for like 6 years at this point. But he's not wrong that the classic devs are incredibly stretched thin. Like, just on the baseline, you have Season of Discovery, Cataclysm going into MOP, then you have Anniversary, which is likely going to transition to TBC, very likely. You have, it's like, and then you have Hardcore, SOD. Every little piece of thing keeps adding more and more development time, more and more energy, resources. I don't know if they're actually getting the resources necessary for this to be worthwhile or valid, because Phase 7 has been amazing. Top tier content. Season of Discovery is doing amazing. Anniversary is starting to pop off. It's doing really well numbers wise, players wise, things of that nature. But there's been constant bugs and issues and little glaring problems popping up left and right. And again, nothing truly game breaking, because everything they have done has been kind of fixed pretty immediately. But Solheim's not wrong in that the devs are just incredibly stretched thin, and that does bode kind of like worryingly for the future. Because if you remember Cataclysm Classics launch, it was beyond horrendous. So MOP Classics launch may be questionable as well, but we'll see.
people from Season of Discovery could queue up with people from Fresh Classic WoW, and the Season of Discovery players are obviously way stronger than Fresh Classic WoW players. And the same thing happened when they gave us Naxxramas in Season of Discovery, where some of the bosses, I think it was Maxna, like the spider boss in Naxxramas, in Fresh Classic WoW had literal Season of Discovery numbers. So it had, what was it, like 10 times the health or something like that, which really messed up with people that had full world boss, for example. They obviously wiped, but the boss had 10 times the health. So not only did Season of Discovery leak into Classic WoW once, it happened twice, pretty much back to back, week after week. So it feels like Blizzard simply can't handle being like Season of Discovery and Fresh Classic WoW on the same launcher, it keeps leaking into each other, and I would not be surprised if the same thing happens in Phase 3 in Fresh Classic WoW as well. And then we have the fact that in, for example, PvP servers, Black Lotuses are currently 200 gold plus. I think they were 300 gold yesterday and 200 gold today, simply because bots are literally...
This is something I've talked about multiple times, and I know I'm pausing the video a whole bunch, but it's a react. I guess this is what you're meant to do. Anniversary inflation is disgusting. Like, the amount of botters, which means the amount of people buying gold and swiping, the amount of GDKPs, just everything in Anniversary is kind of fucked. And you can't really tell the player base not to do that content or not to play the way they want, but it's literally not tenable. The prices over in Anniversary are obscene. Like, people are literally holding thousands upon thousands of gold, and that shit just came out. Like, you have people selling Edge Masters for 5,000-6,000 gold. The price may have dropped down now at the time of saying this, but it's insane what's happened in terms of inflation. Like, the Black Lotus situation, it's the exact same thing back in OG Classic. When 2019 first launched, Black Lotus wasn't that expensive. By around Phase 2 and Phase 3, Black Lotus was incredibly expensive. 200 gold for one flask, and you had to buy it once a week. And don't get me wrong, once a week wasn't super bad, like it wasn't that hard to farm things, but it's really frustrating to see what's happened to just the economy in general, and that the botting situation is so obscene. I know the devs have been trying. I don't know what the exact solution to botting is, but shit's terrible. Like, botting is genuinely a huge problem in a lot of games, not just WoW, and I don't know what the solution is. Honestly, you can't ban the botters, so ban the players. If you buy gold, get banned. That's my opinion, honestly.
Camping. They are farming them, teleporting, using the same scripts they used in 2019 to farm Black Lotus, and if you're a regular player, you simply cannot get them. So they're having a monopoly and charging you a premium for those Black Lotuses. In the PvE servers, they're about 25 gold, for example, because they know that those hardcore people that are willing to pay, they are on the PvP servers. So 200 gold plus on the PvP servers, and 25 gold on the PvE servers. I don't know, like, the whole state there is just terrible, and botting is so rampant. You see bots all the time, pretty much everywhere. There's been so many problems, and I simply cannot not cover them, because to me that would be, like, disingenuous. I cover pretty much everything, so that's a major part of why I recently went into Turtle WoW, for example. I downloaded this again 1 week ago, and I'm having a blast. First of all, there's no mage boosting here. As you can see, I have trade chat and world chat open right now, and you cannot see a single mage boost. Like,
my face is in the way, and I'll move it over for a second just while he talks. But he hasn't lied. I haven't seen a single boosting message the entire time the video's been playing. It's been 4 minutes, and the chat's been going relatively fast, and not once have I seen a single boosting message. So I'll just put my face over here for a second.
Video, because that is not allowed. You could maybe boost like your friends and your guildmates, but you cannot advertise and tell people that you're selling boosts. So mages simply don't advertise boosts here. The trade chat is full of people that are actively finding dungeons in what I want to call it the legitimate way, playing the game the way it was meant to be played, pretty much. You also probably don't see anyone trying to sell gold or buy gold, or anyone promoting like websites in trade chat here, or world chat either, simply because that is not allowed either, and we actually have active game masters here that keep their policies like in place. So if anyone tries to promote mage boosting, they get banned. If somebody tries to promote a gold buying website, they get banned. And if anyone is botting, they also get banned. I haven't seen a single bot get past level 10 in this server. And I've been here for a while, like on and off, and I never see bots, and if I do, they're usually below level 10, and they get banned instantly. Now, one of the things that I'm the most impressed about...
I will say the GM thing, like the actively enforcing thing, sounds like a dream come true. They're doing dungeons with people, like you actually have to do dungeons. Like no boosting, don't get me wrong, I've been boosted, everyone's been boosted, I'm pretty sure Solheim's been boosted, and we've all gotten kind of like lost in the way that people have started playing, so we play as other people do. And that's bad for the game. It's overall bad for the game to let convenience destroy the actual gameplay systems. Leveling alt isn't fun, because literally the only way to read the level is questing or getting boosted. There are very few dungeons to be found. You can't actually grind dungeons with randoms. You actually have to go out of your way to get a boost because no one's actually partaking in dungeons. For the most part, you will find the occasional group, don't get me wrong, but... And GMs being around, trying the best. Now, Total WoW is a much smaller server, so I do believe that there is a level of like variance there, that Total WoW just has way less bot time playing on the server. But it's still obscene to me how quotation marks clean one server seems compared to the other. Again, apples and oranges, but I mean, a delicious orange is gonna be better than a kind of rotten apple in this context, if people get what I'm saying.
About when it comes to Turtle WoW is the simple population of this game. I have been an on and off player quite a few times. Like, I leveled this paladin to level 60, and before that I leveled a warrior. I also have a level 55 feral druid on the PvP server when Telebeam opened, and I now have a hunter. I think I basically come back to Turtle WoW 4 times over 5 years, and every single time there's a lot of people playing. Even right now, if you type .server info, we can see how many people are actually online, and right now...
So right now, you can see that there's 6,262 people, max online 6,272. I'm not sure what the max online means. Does that mean that only 6,272 people can be online? So once it hits that, the server is capped? I'm not sure on the exacts there, but it's a lot of people for a private server.
At this very moment, there's 6,262 people online. I did a similar scan yesterday as well, showing 5,000.
It's a lot of fucking people. Like, for a private server, it's actually really good numbers. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. 5,172 to 7,138. Like, that's pretty fucking insane.
772 people online, and yesterday you can see the maximum online as well, which is basically the peak online number.
Oh, that's what that means. Okay.
Was 7,138. Basically, this server is incredibly popular, and the numbers were the same, and maybe a little bit less back in the days as well, so it's just growing slowly but steadily over time. And it's like, even though these numbers might not be anything compared to the fresh classic WoW servers, especially the PvP ones, we only have one layer on Turtle WoW. On the PvP servers, I believe last time I checked, there were 5 different layers. So this server just feels so popular because you can see everyone that is currently online in your world at the moment.
Oh, so it's the original server.
What you see here in Stormwind, this is Stormwind. This is not layer 1, not layer 2, this is Stormwind. Everyone is on the same layer, there's no layering mechanic here. So you...
That is actually really good. Like, I know Showbeck is a huge advocate of the one layer, one world system. I know like in the regular WoW that wouldn't work. For example, if you try to do one layer on Anniversary, you're gonna have like 30,000 people on a singular layer. That's kind of obscene. And just the game world isn't designed for that many people. But having just the entire server on the entire population on a single server, single layer, feels amazing. If they cap the server population to 10,000 people, it still wouldn't work because the streamer servers, you know, if someone like Asmongold would have a whole 10,000 person server just to himself. There's no real good way around this, but the one layer, one world is still an amazing system.
Simply feel like the world is way more alive than it otherwise would be, because once again, everyone who's currently online, you will see them. There's not like some magical layer 6 around here that has like different amounts of people. Everyone that you see, they are here. So, like I said, I recently made a hunter in Turtle WoW once again. I want to play the melee hunter this time around, and I kind of want to show you some of that gameplay just to give you an idea of what is new on Turtle WoW. And to anyone who's playing classic WoW and you've been on the fence about Turtle WoW, if I had to describe Turtle WoW in one way, it is what Season of Discovery should have been. It's Season of Discovery, but not with all of those changes. Like, there's no nightmare incursions in Turtle WoW. This is just like regular classic WoW, with some class changes. Instead of giving classes all of the abilities from TBC and Wrath, like for example Season of Discovery did, we simply have a couple of class changes, which makes certain classes more playable. Like Melee Hunter, we get 2 melee attacks, and they increase like some of the damage we do as well, and gives us more damage on traps. You're basically a Melee Hunter plus as trap specialist, doing more damage with like explosive traps, fire traps, and stuff like that. It's just they're building upon the class that you're already playing, instead of giving you like 10 brand new abilities and filling up your bar. Like in Season of Discovery, we simply get so many abilities from the rune system, it is getting a little bit overhand. In Turtle WoW, they are just keeping it simple while improving the classes and making them playable. The main thing is having a class fantasy and making that class, like, justifying it being playable. So Paladins, for example, having a taunt for Protection Paladins, and simply being actually able to tank. So number 1 is having a taunt, and then number 2 is having, for example, Holy Shield. Is also a big thing.
I will say that is one of the biggest complaints I've heard people say about SOD, and it's something I've said before as well, is that the runes are rather like decent from like the get-go, but there's too much player power, too many changes, too many things. What SOD should have been is classic fixed, not classic expanded as it was. So Paladin getting a taunt, Survival Hunter being slightly more viable, Red Paladin being slightly tweaked so it's playable in PvE, Ali Shaman and Hand Shaman being slightly tweaked so they're better, Warrior being tweaked a little bit downward so not everybody was doing Warrior meta, giving people, like, you know, Boomkin having its mana issue solved slightly so the Boomkin wasn't just, you know, up, you're out of mana, time to, like, I don't even know if Boomkins can wand. No, you can't. Just sitting there with your dick in your hand. All people really wanted from SOD was fixing Classic without going to TBC or Wrath. And instead we got SOD. And again, I really like SOD. I think SOD is a really good game. Phase 7 is the best it's been in a very long time. But I do see why a lot of people would be enticed by Turtle WoW and the way it does the class systems and the world. You could even see by how it was playing, there was a lot of just like random brand new quests just sprinkled throughout, like, you know, Alban Forest and most of the zones. They added a couple of extra quests. Nothing too much. But like they added maybe 5 or 10 quests to each zone, which made the zones feel better, flow better, feel better. And that's essentially what a lot of people really wanted from Season Discovery, is fixing and expanding upon the world. They wanted essentially more Karazhan crypts, less runes, less, you know, nightmare incursions and stuff like that.
Now here you can just see the tent mechanic in Turtle WoW as well. It's still here and I simply love this mechanic. And to anyone who doesn't understand this, I mean, look at my experience bar right now. When you're standing underneath a tent, which somebody needs to make this tent, it's a brand new like profession, like cooking, so anyone can pick it up, and then you can make tents. Now when you make a tent, it will be there for I think 5 minutes, and you can see it slowly but surely gives you rested experience while standing underneath the tent. Now this can be both good and bad, but I think this is a incredibly good mechanic, because it kind of like gives you a reason to meet up while you're leveling. It's kind of like a meetup place. Everyone meets up at some place.
It's a lot of rested XP.
Now the tents are usually in 2 locations, either Goldshire or outside Stormwind. For the Horde, it's either in the Barrens or outside Orgrimmar, for example. So everyone meets up in 1 or 2 places, then goes out and levels for an hour or 2, and then you meet up again. It just makes you actually see a bunch of people while you're playing the game, just enforcing or like highlighting the multiplayer aspect, because when you're leveling it can feel like a single player game sometimes. So meeting up with people, seeing that there are so many people around you, it simply feels good, in my opinion. And yeah, for me, level the hunter, it takes quite a while to like feel the melee hunter thing here, but I also just want to show you that there are brand new quests. We have quite a few quests that we haven't had in the past. So right now, in the right here, you can see a quest called the Harvest Golem Mystery, which is a 10-part quest. Like, they're once again building upon the long quest chains we usually have in Classic WoW, and this one is a long quest chain in Westfall, leading into Dead Mines. So you have one more quest inside Dead Mines at the end here.
Like, it's a lot of really cool shit.
And speaking of,
like I said, like, it's the survival thing. Like, you know, SOD has the bedroll. The bedroll is kind of, I think, like inspired by Turtle WoW's survival profession, because they added a whole brand new profession called survival, where you can put up camps, you can rest underneath it, you can log out underneath it. Camps is a place where you get rested XP, like Solheim showed. But just like I said it earlier as well, so I'm not going to repeat it too much, but expanding the world was like the keyest thing that people really wanted, and SOD has only started really doing that in like Phase 7 in a proper way with Karazhan Crypts, and now Phase 8 with the Scarlet Enclave. People just really want new content and expanded old content. They don't really want, I guess Classic 2 is what SOD would be. It's not exactly Classic Plus. It's not exactly what a lot of people's definition of Classic Plus. It's still great. It's still amazing. But I see why Total WoW has such mass appeal with a lot of different groups and people.
Deadmines, we actually have a couple of brand new wings inside the Deadmines as well, which introduces 2 brand new bosses in Deadmines. So you have this kind of alchemist wing right at the entrance of Deadmines as well, which it doesn't make Deadmines unrecognizable, but it makes it a little bit fresh, and I feel like that's the entire thing that Turtle WoW does. You feel like you're home, you're playing Classic WoW, but there are a couple of like mysterious things. There's a couple of new elements that you haven't really explored before, and to me it simply brings back that feeling that I had the first time Classic WoW came around. I was in a familiar place, but I haven't really discovered everything. It is that whole discovery aspect and the whole something is unknown aspect. Now, when playing Fresh Classic WoW right now, it only really plays on nostalgia, but there's not that much to discover. So Season of Discovery, for example, was a real breath of fresh air, simply because once again we were in a familiar place, we played Classic WoW, but there were a lot of new things that we haven't seen before, and Turtle WoW does that as well, but to a much better extent.
This is what I was saying. Expanding on the old world. Like for me, I would have loved SOD way more if they removed a lot of the power and they added an extra dungeon in the leveling bracket. They added extra wings to dungeons. They added an extra boss here or there. A couple of new quest lines. Some new gear here or there. When you get to max level, start building upon new old zones. For example, Hyjal, Grimbatol, things of that nature. Now, SOD has started finally doing that, but I feel like it's a little too late for a lot of people. I do want to give Nax some time and see if Nax actually blows the player base back up, because SOD's player base is kind of like around the 55k, 56k mark right now, and it may blow up some more. But it's seeing Total WoW. All I really think in my mind is Blizzard needs to steal all of this. What's Total WoW going to do? Just take every single piece of content you see here and put it in a SOD, Classic Plus, whatever you want to call it. Because this shit would it would do numbers. It would be insane.
In my opinion, like to me, Season of Discovery does a little bit too much, and Turtle WoW just does just the perfect amount. So here as well, for example, you can see the Rack Source Hammer is now a green hammer and has slightly better stats than it otherwise would. Here's another item from the same boss, the Rock Slicer, and once again this one has also been scaled up quite a bit, giving you both attack power, and it's a blue item this time around. So quite a few items have been changed throughout pretty much the start to the end. You will see a bunch of items that you might have thought of as bad in Classic WoW. They are suddenly not as bad in Turtle WoW, and they're actually like worth getting. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to make this video to say that I am playing Turtle WoW again, and if there's any specific Turtle WoW content you want to see, then let me know that in the comments down below, and also let me know, have you tried Turtle WoW? And are you currently playing Turtle WoW? I probably will make quite a few videos about Turtle WoW in the coming like days here, maybe weeks as well, just because once again I kind of think it's good to diversify a little bit and not just talk about Classic WoW all the time, even though Turtle WoW is once again pretty much also Classic WoW, but with some changes. It is Season of Discovery, but with a lot less stuff, which to me is just perfect. So yeah, just wanted to say that I'm playing Turtle WoW and I think it's a great place to be. I've played it quite a few times, and I'm back for one more run.
So Solheim, my brother, made some great content, great video here, really high quality, top tier shit. I do agree with a lot of his points. It is genuinely really an amazing server with a lot of content there, and there's definite things that Blizzard should take from them and copy and just try to implement. Overall, Total WoW is a version of Classic that people would want for their version of Classic Plus, whereas SOD is a lot of other people's version of Classic Plus because of the power from TBC and Wrath. There is no correct answer, but I do feel like Total WoW implements a lot of the more classic vibes better and more like idealistically compared to what SOD did. But SOD in Phase 7 is fucking nailing it. Phase 1 SOD and Phase 7 SOD have been the best SOD has ever been. So I'm kind of hopeful for the future, but I do hope they just end up copying and stealing more from Total WoW and just doing better. Because a private server should not even be close. It should be far below the capabilities of Blizzard. So thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed that video, please like and subscribe. If you hated it, understandable. Dislike and subscribe anyways. You can dislike my next reaction. The link to Solheim will be in the description below, so check him out. Again, amazing content creator. I love his stuff. Dude is amazing. So thank you all. Peace out.